He seemed so normal, charming, handsome, intelligent, but beneath the surface a darkness lurked. Ted Bundy, the name still sends chills down spines. He became the embodiment of pure evil. Bundy preyed on young women, luring them to their deaths. His crimes, marked by brutality and depravity, shocked the nation. How could someone so seemingly ordinary commit such horrific acts? Bundy's case challenged our perceptions of good and evil. It forced us to confront the uncomfortable reality: monsters can hide in plain sight. His trial captivated the world, a macabre spectacle of justice and depravity. Even in death, Bundy's presence lingers. His case continues to fascinate and horrify, a chilling reminder of the darkness that can reside within seemingly ordinary individuals. Ted Bundy's early life was unremarkable. Born in Vermont in 1946, he grew up in a seemingly stable home. He was described as a quiet, even shy child. He excelled academically, showing intelligence and a knack for charm. Bundy was well liked by his peers and teachers, a model student with a promising future. However, beneath the surface, cracks began to show. There were hints of darkness, glimpses into a troubled mind. He developed a fascination with voyeurism, peeping into strangers' windows. This early deviancy foreshadowed the monster he would become. The seemingly normal facade hid a growing darkness, a twisted psyche waiting to be unleashed. Ted Bundy was a master manipulator. He used his intelligence and charm as weapons, disarming his victims and evading suspicion. He was handsome, articulate, and charismatic, able to blend into any crowd. Bundy often feigned injury or impersonated authority figures to gain his victims' trust. He exploited their kindness and vulnerability, turning their good intentions against them. His intelligence was undeniable, allowing him to carefully plan his crimes and meticulously cover his tracks. He studied law enforcement techniques, staying one step ahead of the authorities. Bundy's charm was his most dangerous weapon. It allowed him to appear normal, even trustworthy, masking the monster that lurked beneath the surface. The Pacific Northwest became Bundy's hunting ground. Beginning in the early 1970s, young women began to disappear with alarming frequency. Their disappearances baffled law enforcement, leaving communities living in fear. Bundy's modus operandi often involved approaching young women in public places, often feigning injury or disability to gain their sympathy. He would then overpower them, taking them to secluded locations where he would torture and murder them. His crimes were marked by a shocking level of brutality. Bundy often revisited his victims' bodies, engaging in necrophilia and other acts of depravity. The details of his crimes revealed in court shocked and horrified the nation. As the body count rose, so did the fear. The Pacific Northwest was gripped by terror, as Bundy's reign of terror continued unchecked, leaving a trail of grief and unanswered questions in its wake. Despite his meticulous planning, Bundy left behind a trail of clues. Witnesses reported seeing a man matching his description, often driving a Volkswagen Beetle near the sites of his crimes. Bundy's arrogance often worked against him. He would revisit crime scenes, even contacting victims' families to taunt them. These reckless acts provided crucial evidence for investigators. He had several close calls with the law. Traffic violations and suspicious behavior led to multiple encounters with police. However, Bundy's charm and seeming normalcy often allowed him to talk his way out of trouble. Despite these close calls, Bundy remained elusive. He continued his killing spree, moving across state lines, leaving a trail of death and devastation in his wake. Law enforcement was desperate, struggling to connect the dots and bring him to justice. Ted Bundy was finally apprehended in 1975 after a high-speed chase. However, his capture was just the beginning of a long and twisted legal saga. He escaped from custody twice, further solidifying his notoriety. Bundy, always the narcissist, relished the attention his case brought. He reveled in the spotlight, using his trials as a platform to proclaim his innocence and exert control over the narrative. During his trials, Bundy's carefully crafted mask began to slip. His arrogance and lack of remorse became evident. He represented himself in court, often displaying a chilling detachment from the heinous crimes he was accused of. Despite his attempts to manipulate the legal system, the evidence against Bundy was overwhelming. He was found guilty on multiple counts of murder and sentenced to death. As Bundy's execution date approached, he finally began to show remorse for his crimes. He granted interviews, confessing to the full extent of his depravity in chilling detail. These confessions provided closure for some victims' families, offering a glimpse into the mind of a monster. However, many believe Bundy's confessions were a last-ditch effort to manipulate public opinion and delay his execution. On January 24, 1989, Ted Bundy was executed in Florida's electric chair. Crowds gathered outside the prison, cheering as the sentence was carried out. Bundy's death marked the end of a reign of terror that had haunted the nation for over a decade. Despite his death, Bundy's shadow continues to loom large. His case remains one of the most infamous in American history, a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath a veneer of normalcy. Ted Bundy's case continues to fascinate and horrify, even decades after his death. His story has been the subject of countless books, documentaries, and films, each attempting to unravel the mystery of his evil. Bundy's intelligence and charm, so at odds with his horrific crimes, continue to captivate the public imagination. He remains a chilling example of the duality of human nature, the terrifying reality that monsters can hide in plain sight. The public's fascination with true crime, fueled by cases like Bundy's, has only grown in recent years. Podcasts, documentaries, and fictionalized accounts of real-life crimes dominate popular culture, reflecting our enduring fascination with the dark side of humanity. However, this fascination should not overshadow the victims of Bundy's crimes. Their stories, their lives cut tragically short, should be at the forefront of any discussion about his legacy. Ted Bundy's case had a profound impact on law enforcement and criminal justice. His crimes exposed weaknesses in traditional investigative techniques, leading to the development of new methods for catching serial killers. Bundy's case highlighted the importance of profiling in criminal investigations. By analyzing crime scenes and victim profiles, investigators could begin to understand the motivations and behavioral patterns of perpetrators. The FBI's Behavioral Science Unit, established in the wake of Bundy's crimes, revolutionized the way law enforcement approached serial killers. By applying psychological principles to criminal investigations, profilers could help track down offenders and prevent future crimes. The lessons learned from Ted Bundy's case continue to shape criminal justice today. His legacy, though born of tragedy,